My name is Marian Naranjo, and I too am from H.O.P.E, Singing Water, Santa Clara, Pueblo. I would like to welcome you all to a place that historically is a Tewa place, Ogapoge. This is the original name of Santa Fe, Shell Water Place. Our Tewa world is comprised of the four directions inclusive of the Jemez and Sangre de Cristo mountain ranges, down to Sandia and up north by the border. This was the Tewa world. This was the place that has sustained Pueblo people from our migration from Four Corners for millennia. I would like to share a personal story with you about my great-grandparents were people who got to witness the first of the American culture to arrive here, which were anthropologists. And this was our first divide of our community because we were, with legend, not to dig our ancestral home sites. At that time, it was said that there was no such things as lies. You always did what the elders told you how it was, how it is, and our special people could tell us how it's going to be in the future. They had to make some very strong decisions because of word that had been communicated to the Pueblo people from what happened to the tribes from the East Coast on up to this point. And many of them no longer exist. So it was a decision-making of survival. Our people were very peaceful people, and so their gifts was communicating and putting it on the table, and let's talk about this and figure out how we can survive together. I mean, they had already done this with the Spanish in Mexico and figured out a way where we could coexist. Now it's another culture. How can we coexist? So then, in my grandpa's time, I never knew my grandpa, but I hear these beautiful stories about him from other Pueblos. He was a healer, and he got to see the electricity and the first cars and those kinds of things that came here. And but he also lived in a time when there was no electricity, and they had wagons, horseback, and the runners. Very intuitive runners, from village to village. And being a healer, he was very connected to the Walatoa people, which were the Jemez people. And they would have come down to him when a certain society was doing their initiations, so to speak. And because he knew all of the sacred sites from the north to the very southern tip of the Jemez Mountains, he knew all of those sites. And so he would take them to these places. Then during my father's time, my mom and dad were factions of the World War II, and the lab was there, And I remember one day being a very, very small girl and got to see the gate that was across the lab. Then a little bit older, when gas was like $1.25 to fill your tank, I got to pay the guy who actually poured the gas and washed the windshield. And my dad took us for a ride up to the caldera and stopped us at some of the sites that were accessible by vehicle now. And one place in particular, we all got out and we did our cornmeal offering, and never forgot that particular site. So then, when I had my children, gas is now, $15 would fill your tank. So we get in the car and I take my children, and we get to stop at that one particular site that was accessible, and told them the stories and did our cornmeal offering. And so now it's my grandchildren. And one day I had gone to this site, and there was a guard gate there. And I was not allowed access. And it was at a time when DOE headquarters actually were in town that very same day. And we went to a meeting in Los Alamos with them. And this was such a profound incident to me. And knowing, that there's supposed to be these government-to-government relationships and access to native sites, sacred sites, from government properties. And so I told on the lab, and sometime after that, I went back to that site, and I was allowed to come in only a certain way, but I was allowed to come in and did my cornmeal offering, and I was okay with that. And then, now, 4 years ago, actually, with my great-grandkids, now gas is $3.50 and $40 to fill your tank. And I go back up there to the site, and the guard makes a phone call. And I was surrounded by red lights and men with guns. And I told them why I was there. And they made another call, and some more cars with red lights and men with guns. And there was a man that he looked like he was from the township of Espanola. And we looked at each other, and he knew that I must have been, I told him where I was from. So he walked me to the edge of the pavement, but had to stand there with guns while I prayed. So this is the kinds of things that have happened, to us over a short period of time, 3 generations of people, 4 generations of people. And we now, share our water with many people, 80,000 here in H.O.P.E. In townships up the road, Espanola and Earthouse, and other people that are building, in the Haynes. We're sharing. Our Creator gave us indigenous people places for a reason. And we were meant to be the caretakers of these places. And we had done that our ancestors had done that and had taught how to do this. And now our hands are tied because other ways, are democratic and above that. So we are very much suffering, as Beata told you. We lost our watershed, but the truth of the matter is that our people, over all these times of witnessing all of these changes, have had resilience and strength to know that we are only that. We are witnesses. And it's so important, for all of us to document this time. It is so important, however we can do that. Our older people documented things in the rocks, and we are finally learning how to read them and know that spiritual knowledge that they passed down. So I have an organization called Honor Our Pueblo Existence, and we've been doing a lot of work for many years, with Jay and Joni and Scott and others on the environmental issues and our concerns because of Los Alamos National Laboratory. And we also do our cultural preservation work. It's taught to us that you walk a balance and try and keep that balance in your life every day. So that was the way that that teaching, that our organization came together. So one day we're in meetings and talking the technical work with these hazardous waste permits and stormwater permits from the lab, and the next day we're plastering our ovens and realizing, that our young people need to know that our land-based connection, what's in our mud now, what's in our pottery dirt, what are we breathing, and these things need to be taught to the young people because they're going to be the ones